Hi everyone, this is Hannah from Wonderful Woodlands, and today we're going to learn a yarn over, a twisted yarn over, and a reverse yarn over. So to get started here, I have cast on 18 stitches. We're going to work this in the round. So I have 6 stitches per needle, and these are big needles. They're size 13, so you can see what we're doing here. So the pattern we're going to work in today is going to be a yarn over, knit 2, and we're going to do that all the way around. So a yarn over is one of our stitches that we can use to increase, and it's really easy, which is great. So the first thing you're going to do, normally for a knit stitch, you have your yarn back here and you would wrap it around your needle here. Instead, we're going to bring it underneath this needle, so it's going to be on the front side instead. This is where it would be if we were going to purl. And then this creates a loop on the yarn back here, so that's your yarn over stitch. And then from here, we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2, and then we're going to do that again. So we're going to go yarn over, and we're going to knit 1 and knit 2, and we're going to yarn over, and we're going to knit 1 and we're going to knit 2, and then we're going to do the same thing on the second needle so you can see it again, and then we'll do the reverse yarn over on the last needle. The twisted yarn over doesn't refer to the yarn over itself. It refers to how you work that yarn over in the next row. So we'll come back to that. So the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to wrap this around the needle one time, and then we're going to go knit 1, knit 2, and yarn over, knit 1, knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, knit 2. Okay, now for our last needle here, we are going to do a reverse yarn over. I don't use reverse yarn overs very often. I do have one pattern. It's our Tinkerbell hat pattern that does call for a reverse yarn over. So when you need to use a reverse yarn over, it's really important that you do a reverse yarn over and not a regular yarn over. Otherwise the pattern won't work. So we're going to change the pattern up here. I'm going to knit 1, and then so for a regular yarn over, you would come around from the left side to the right side. We're going to reverse this. You're going to go around from the right side to the left side to make this backwards. So we'll do one of these for every stitch on here. And then reverse, we're going to go from right to left. And reverse again, we'll go from right to left. And reverse, right to left, and reverse, right to left. Okay, now we're on round 2. So for our first row here, we're just gonna do, knit these, and this is gonna create a classic yarn over, which creates an eyelet for you. So this is actually the foundation of your lace knitting, which we'll get into more later. But it's nice to know there's some really easy lace stitches. We tend to think of lace as more complicated, but this one's actually a very basic stitch. So you have a big eyelet here. You can see this big hole. We're just going to knit into this is your yarn over stitch. We're just going to knit into this like we would any other normal knit stitch, but it's going to create a hole in our work. And then we'll knit the next 2 stitches which are both regular stitches. And then we have another yarn over here, so we're going to knit into this, and then knit 1, knit 2, and then this is our last yarn over here, and we'll knit here. Now, when we go back and look at our work, you can see we have, these are called eyelets. So this created some eyelets in our work for us. And we have some lace knitting videos if you want to see how we can stack these to create lace. I will link to, it's a whole playlist. I'll link to that playlist in the description. Now for our second needle here, we're going to do our twisted yarn over. So the yarn over stitch was the same, but how we work it is going to be different. So instead of going for a regular knit stitch, we're going to knit through the back loop. We learned this in our knit 2 together through the back loop, but instead of knitting 2 together, we're just going to knit 1. This is going to twist the stitch, and so it's not going to create such a large eyelet. It still creates a little bit of a hole, but it's a lot smaller than if you don't twist the stitch. So depending on what look you're going for in your project, you can create different textures here. And this is our last one here. We're gonna go for the back loop on the back there, and then just work it as a knit stitch. And then when we look at this, you can see there's a little bit of a hole there, but nothing like our eyelets on the first stitch, which are very, very big holes in our work. So a twisted yarn over creates a really pretty, even when you need to increase, it's not super noticeable in your work. And so it's a really pretty way to increase. Now we're gonna do our last one. This was our backwards yarn over, and we're just gonna knit these like regular stitches as well. So this was a regular knit stitch, and then this is our first yarn over stitch here. So same thing, you could either work this from the front because this is backwards, this is gonna twist the stitch for you, or if you work it from the back here, this is gonna create the eyelet. So it's up to you how you want to work this yarn over. We'll twist the first one, and then the second one, we're gonna knit and create an eyelet. So I'll show you both. And then we're gonna twist this one. And then this one, we're gonna create an eyelet. And then this one, we're gonna twist. And it's our last stitch. So, when you go back and look at our stitches here, we have an eyelet here. This one's twisted, so there's a little bit of a hole, but it's a smaller hole. We have an eyelet here, and then this hole over here, there's a little bit of a hole, but it's smaller too. So those are your yarn over, your twisted yarn over, and your reverse yarn over.